Hello, I hope you're all right. I'm Paul Wright, and welcome to this very exciting video. Today I wanted to see if it was possible to build a cheap DIY teleprompter for a smartphone from materials found only at the dollar store. And you're gonna wanna stick around for this one because it's totally possible to build your own teleprompter today for under $5. How do I know? Because I'm using this teleprompter right now. Not bad, right? This might be a DIY project, but if the thought of memorizing scripts is what's stopping you from starting to make videos, I'm here to say, you no longer have that excuse. Sorry, not sorry. I really just want to see you start to make videos. Now, before we jump into the tutorial of how to build this thing, I want to clarify why you might want to use a teleprompter. Because if you've ever seen an episode of SNL, or seen someone else on camera rigidly reading through a script from a teleprompter, or ever watched someone's eyes on camera moving back and forth, you might be a bit turned off from the idea of using a teleprompter. But with practice and experience using one, you'll be making some incredible videos with much less stress than if you weren't using a teleprompter. While some people come off as natural in front of the camera even without a script, even fewer of those people are able to speak clearly and concisely without having a script. And having a script can help, especially when you want to use a specific wording to describe part of your subject matter. Which, if you're making videos about your business, I actually highly recommend a very clear and concise wording to communicate who your business is. Mostly so that you're giving your customers the proper words to describe what they've gotten from your company. But when you're concerned about specific wording in this way, you only have 3 options. You can memorize the script, you can read the script off screen, or you can read the script from a teleprompter on screen. So if you value having your subject on screen, using a teleprompter is a great option, especially because I'm going to show you how to get started for $5. Okay, let's jump into this tutorial here. I headed over to the dollar store to find my materials. I say we're gonna build this teleprompter, but I promise it's not going to take any construction skills at all. First, we're going to need some tape. I'd recommend grabbing duct tape, but the store I stopped at also had this black version that was marketed as being even stronger. And you could use that because we're going to make this whole thing black in color so that it doesn't reflect any extra light when we're on set shooting. You might want to grab some super glue to make sure the glass doesn't slip out of its frame. But I didn't use any of it, and I didn't factor this into the total cost of the teleprompter. Next, I headed to find a picture frame. I was looking for one that had a glass front instead of plastic, would be about the right size for the smartphone I have, and have a plain black frame to make sure that I have square edges to be able to attach the sides to. This frame was a bit bigger than I needed, but I figured I wanted to leave some extra room in case I ever have to use a larger phone. Finally, I headed to the craft section to find some foamcore board. Now you can definitely use cardboard and just buy some cheap black spray paint if you want, but this foamcore tends to be a bit more rigid than a lot of cardboard. These boards are also great to use as flags on set. That is, to block out any unwanted light on parts of your frame. They're really good for helping get that nice two-faced look where one side of the face is light and the other side is dark. The white foam core is perfect to use as a bounce board. The last thing that you'll need to look for if you don't have it already is a razor blade, X-Acto knife, or utility knife. To get really precise clean cuts on the foam core, you really need a sharp blade. But in a pinch, you might be able to use a really sharp kitchen knife, or even make your cuts with scissors. I'm just a perfectionist. If you're the kind of person who has a very expensive phone you'll be using for your teleprompter setup, you might want to pick up one of these car vent phone holders to hold your phone in place while you're prompting. I'm using an old phone, so I'm not going to worry about this. Now that I'm back in the studio, I'm going to take the back off the frame. Next, I'm going to measure the width of my frame and figure out how tall the sides need to be. I had this square handy, so I decided to use its 45-degree angle as the angle of my glass. I also figured that the frame would touch the top of the box, but would have a bit of a gap on the bottom to give it extra space to be able to reflect the image. I marked everything out, made my cuts, and made sure everything looked good. Next, I marked out where the corners should go and lightly scored them to be able to bend the board without breaking it. You can now start attaching your frame to the foam core using the tape you bought. I'm using black gaffer's tape because I had it available and it's super nice. But this will work with any type of tape that you want to use. Next, measure out the top section, cut it, and attach it. Hey, we've got a teleprompter. Well, not quite. Go ahead and reinforce the corners and attach some extra tape to cover up that gap that we have at the bottom. To make the teleprompter ready to use, we need to block out as much light as possible from the lens side of the glass. This is the key to making sure the camera doesn't see the words that are being reflected. So estimate the space you need for the lenses you'll be using and attach some scraps to either side. Don't worry about making it precise, as you can always drape some fabric over the lens to block out any additional light. Finally, because I'm a perfectionist, I taped over all the white edges of the foam core for a super clean look. And that's it. Our teleprompter is ready to use. Pretty awesome, right? The biggest difference between this teleprompter and a professional one that costs hundreds of dollars more is the quality of the glass. Professional teleprompters will have what's called beam splitter glass, typically the 70-30 variety being the best. This has a mirrored coating on the talent side of the glass that helps make the text easier to read. I'll be honest though, this is plenty easy for me to read right now. But part of the reason why I wanted to make a smartphone prompter and not an iPad prompter is to allow me to stand closer to the camera. I shoot most of my videos myself, and I tend to stand close to the camera to get more shallow depth of field with my crop sensor. Typically with an iPad-sized teleprompter, you'll need at least 6 feet in between your talent and your camera to not pick up on their eyes moving as they read. But with a smartphone, we're able to cut this distance down by half because the screen is so much smaller. This works to my advantage in this room because I have limited space. The app that I'm using to teleprompt is called Parrot Teleprompter. It's super simple to use and it's completely free. This app was the only teleprompter app that I could find that would allow you to mirror the text without a paid upgrade. To use your new teleprompter, we need to mirror the text so that it reflects back to us correctly so that we can read it. And really, that's it. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you shoot your first video with your teleprompter and you're not pleased with your delivery, know that it'll take some practice to learn how to deliver your script rather than just reading it. But if you end up building this teleprompter, please let me know in the comment section below. Or you can leave a comment if you have any ideas of how to make my design better. If you appreciated this video, please hit the like button, and you can subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. I typically talk about video marketing and video strategy, so if you're looking to use more video in your marketing, I'd recommend you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.